What's up, Rube? It's Little Big Robots here. Today I'm talking about something I'm really excited to talk about because this is a really exciting figure to me. I really enjoy this creature. This is the MachineDramon. I have no idea what that means. I know it's made by Bandai, who is the same company who makes Gundam plastic, Gundam model kits, all these cool kits snap together. They're really fun, pretty inexpensive for what you get. And it's also a figure rise standard kit, which again is something that they use to make like more, from what I understand, like a little bit more, not like a high quality, but like a very detailed type of kit of more of a figure, less than a robot. So this MachineDramon, or whatever the hell it's called, is for all, I think it's from like Yu-Gi-Oh! Somebody out there tell me. I don't know. And I intentionally did not look it up because A, I don't really care so much about lore stuff unless it's in a series I really care about. But B, the mysterious lore of this character illustrates a point, and that is that I really enjoy figures, characters that do not rely on the lore to be enjoyed. So I can give, for example, this is a Rihio, 1/60th scale Rihio figure. This is a fantastic line if you like little modular. It's kind of like, think of Diaclone, but more modular. Here is one of my favorite toys so far. This is the droid, the security droid, Black Series Star Wars, you know. If you didn't know what it was, it doesn't matter. And this figure, I just love her so much. I love actually the texture on her clothes as well. She is, what's her name? Hawthorne? Was it Hawthorne? Hawthorne. From the Lightyear series. This came in a special pack I talked about that you can get at Target. You can get it down to $10, $11. Fantastic, amazing little figure. They all have this kind of generic-ish quality. Not generic as in they don't have any character to them, but like they're a bit agnostic as far as, you know, they're not like, this is a robot from Transformers, this is Optimus Prime. There's certain ones that you know, you have to kind of, or as soon as you see them, you know what they are, and they have this kind of embedded lore with them, if that makes sense. And I like that this guy here, the MachineDramon, is just so giant and goofy and just big and metallic that you'd think, oh, that's like, I bet kids would probably call him Mecha Godzilla or something. You know, he's just so big. He's pretty light for his size. But I don't normally watch a lot of reviews. I just don't really get into other people's reviews because a lot of them tend to spend too much time on, you know, posability. And this one moves here, and this swerves here, and this, they just 5 minutes of that stuff. I want to hear how a reviewer feels about a toy or a model kit or whatever. And seeing a few reviews for this big guy here, one of the cool things I liked about it was that reviewers were almost automatically using joyous, nerdy words like it's just so big and bulky and fun, and you know, they sounded more like kids when reviewing this particular item. And a lot of Gunpla, they're like, oh, and here's the you know, the shield that what's his name uses in season 4, and I'm just like, oh my god, just facts. I want emotion. I want to know why you enjoyed this particular build, and to me it ticked off all the right boxes. In this case, it's big. I don't necessarily always like a big kit. You can see this is a 1/25th scale Joy toy. This is not as big as they come. Between the two, you can see that the Joy toys have painted, so they're going to have paint and details already included for about $90 to $125. These are build your own, so you got to put them together yourself. No paint. There's no weathering or anything for what? I think he was 55, 65, somewhere around there. So you get a lot of plastic, what we like to say in the toys collecting, circles. You get a lot of plastic for the price. You get a ton of plastic with this. But the build is also really fun because there's so many neat little first you start with the head and you start to see, oh, it's got this really cool dragon mouth that really has a nice grippiness to it. You get this nice, it's not a light, that's just a reflective sticker underneath a clear red piece. You get these nice flexible pieces of tubing. A lot of let me lay him down before he crashes. A lot of flexible tubings. You can't see this, maybe in the neck you can, but there is wiring in the neck, and the wiring helps keep the pose of the dragon, the dinosaur, whatever the hell this is. But I like how simply the wire is the wiring is woven into the neck. It goes through one part, push it through, pull it out, cut it. In a lot of kits that use wiring, you gotta finagle with it. This has nice thick wiring. It's easy to handle, if that makes sense. These big giant backpack parts, like, what are those? Are those guns? They have these huge holes in them. I thought some kind of effects part would come with these, but they're these massive things. Again, I don't know the cartoon or the lore, so I don't really care. But they just look ridiculous, are easy to pose. You expect flames or something to come out of there, The hands one's a blade hand, which looks like the, I'm forgetting the name of it. I could find him real quick. These guys right here. So this is also a figurized standard kit in the same Yu-Gi-Oh? I think this is Yu-Gi-Oh? These guys, which I love these guys because they were so chunky, but if I gave you this, and it's not nearly as generic, it doesn't hit you in the same way that this guy does. This guy's obviously a person with claws. You don't quite know, so you don't quite get those memory senses ticked off with this guy. Although it's a great kit, the legs are a little wobbly and stuff. With this guy, you just go, oh, big dragon monster thing, cool. But he has a similar kind of weapon system thing here and similar feet to where I guess that's a Yu-Gi-Oh design, or please tell me, whatever this is, Yu-Gi-Oh? What does this say here? Man, I can't read that. I got old man eyes now. It just happens. Suddenly you're old. Anyway, it has these same feet that aren't perfect, though, so I could see that although he does stand steadily by himself like that, it's when he moves back and forth, the feet start to give way, the toes. So that might be an area of weakness in the future. But you continue to build it, and you start to realize, wait a second, they put actual, I don't know if you can see this, but in the arm, shoulder, right here in the shoulder gap, what you're going to be looking for there is you're going to be looking for, I don't know if you can see, just a little bit of, you can't, let me turn it down just a bit here. You might be able to, looking down there, it's hard to say, but anyway, in the shoulder area there, you're going to see these little lines, and essentially those are what you would see in a more expensive toy, like a Joy toy, where it has, it sometimes does on some of the parts, it'll have here in the knee, it'll have a segmented joint so that when you move it, it does a lock in place. So it goes pop, 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 like that, and it'll hold a position better. This one has that, which I've never seen, and maybe it's the size of it. They wanted to make sure that it would stand up. And it's not in all parts, but in like the arms, they have these little, so you click it and it's staying there. It's not with a Gunpla, normally you move something and it's holding it by tension alone. And this one, it has actual pop, pop, pop. So it's more close to a toy, I'd say, than almost any of the model kits I've ever built. These fantastic kneecaps. I don't know if you can see that. I'm trying to see if it's, I need to figure out a better set, but they have a face. See the face there? And then you open and the mouth screams as he opens his knees to run. The tail is a bit dorky. I could completely have this on upside down because I might have been drinking while I was building. I'm not saying I wasn't. And it's cool and everything like that, but it's kind of funny. He's knocked his arm off. It's funny because I was trying to put it on right, and I think I put it on wrong. And so it just kind of hangs in the back like this. But I kind of dig that. I'm not really that worried about it. Hey, let me grab that arm. Let's give this guy a chance. Here's the extra arm. Has a neat grabby bit on it. You do that cool stuff. I just didn't have this on here all the way. There we go. So it's got a lot of neat features that you would find probably more like in a toy and less than in a model kit. It does have some floppiness to it that's expected from a model kit. But basically, once you get it assembled and you start messing with it, you realize, I'm going to get this in a great position. I'm going to get this in a great pose. You can really do some cool stuff. and have it look, you know, like it's getting ready to kick everybody's buns or whatever. You know, he's let's do this a bit more. There you go. He's running like a linebacker and he's going to tackle somebody, and he takes up room on the shelf, but it's not an ungodly amount of room, so it's going to be great for display. And you're like, man, this was a great freaking investment. So again, I don't know what this thing is. I don't know the reason for its existence. If somebody wants to explain it to me in the comments, I'd be happy to hear that. Let me open his mouth a little bit. He needs a little bit of a roar, doesn't he? Look at that. You know, but the fact is that it just looks good on the shelf. It's not like so many of my toys where I get it and I'm like, it has to have other toys of its own on the shelf to really look good. This one is going to be I'm going to be able to throw it on the shelf, and it just looks cool sitting there. And that's one of my favorite things of all. So if you want to get this, it's not an advanced build at all. At the beginning, you're starting to do little tricks and stuff, like little slide the tube in this way first and then go that way. So you might have to help if you get it for a younger builder. You might have to help at the beginning. But as you go along, it just becomes one of those joyous, giant pieces of plastic. Like this is empty, not empty, but you know, there's like giant chunky pieces of plastic with big areas filled in that you could see. You could put in like wiring or LEDs or something, and it just starts to become a silly, fun time. It really is a fun build. A lot of builds are not that fun. Some builds are a slog and are just, the engineering is not there, or they're just kind of boring or whatever. It's the same old thing. This thing, you just kept finding yourself, as you're assembling it, you're seeing how the wires, for example, work and stuff. And it's just a really kind of deceptively simple build. Like these wires in his waist, suddenly you're like, oh, those look really cool. The tail wire with the stiffness is a bit hit or miss, but it's still cool. It'll hold its shape, you know. I have no idea what the hell these things are. I would think that they would look cooler like this, like a backpack. That actually does, wow, that does look 100 times better. I'm going to swap those over so the wire would be on the top. Look at that. That's so much better, like he's got a jetpack on, you know, and it also balances him a bit more, a little lower center of gravity. But it's just a silly, fun build. I'm really excited to have it. Of course, it goes along with these guys because it's built from the same universe. So maybe you could swap some parts or whatever. But I used to think this guy was nice and big and chunky model kit wise. And then I got this one and I'm like, man, honest to gosh, 2 or 3 of these on a shelf would be awesome. Because you could have like, you could paint this, weather it up and put it in a Warhammer game. It's just, it looks like you could chaos this up and put it in a Warhammer game. It's just fantastic. What a fun build. I hope you pick it up. You know, keep an eye out. There's so many coupons out there now. Don't ever shop at Hobby Lobby. But Michael's was something. Well, Michael's doesn't do Gunpla kits, but I go to Hobby Town. Is a local one in Texas, but you know, around the region. USA Gundam Store will have a lot of sales. Keep an eye out for sales and pick this guy up, because anything less than $50 and you're getting a real steal, because you're getting a fantastic, not only an experience, but a piece that once you have it set on the shelf, even if you never touch it again, it's just going to be a cool looking, it's just going to look cool in the background like some of my other ones here. So fantastic. Love it. Isn't that neat? Ooh, that's a good picture. Let me get a good picture for that. Boop. Really cool. Happy holidays, everybody. It's coming up. Keep an eye out. Please subscribe. I'm trying to break 4,000 subscribers by, I don't know, whenever. It doesn't matter. Give a thumbs up or whatever. Talk in the comments if you have anything to say. I love talking to people in the comments. I met some really amazing people. Have a good day, everybody. I'll talk to you later. I'm going to press this button to quit the video. How about that? Okay, bye-bye.